Okay. So here, very simple. Let's say I want to make a point. So what I saw you guys did on Monday was even showing you an overall resolved project and then define it to you. Now I want to start from the very basic points and say, let's say you want to just make a point. So one way is to go in and type point and find the option that you want, or you could also go back and through those library sections find what you want. So let's say here's the point. Just click on it. It takes a while, but it will show up. So not similar to Revit and Maya, Dynamo does not have very good help files and a lot of good forums or tutorials out there, so because it's fairly new and not a lot of support stuff has happened for it. There are some sources to go to, but not a lot comparing to Revit and Maya, not at all. But it's very simple. So here we set a point and it gave us the point here. And then we have X, Y, and Z coordinates, so we can define different values for them. So let's say we want to use a number. You just type in number, click on it, it will show up here. You will drag it in. So the way to do it, the difference between Grasshopper and Rhino is in Grasshopper we just drag it in. Here we use click and then click. And if you want to disconnect it, again click out here. So you connect 0 and 0, and then if you want to copy something, you can do Control-C, Control-V, or you could just drag it and press Control. Control. Right there. Some way of using Control to let you copy it. And it's a little bit weird. And then you apply to it. Like that. Anything you put in, again, similar to Grasshopper, you can just rename them. And it's very useful because in the future, as your project gets developed, you'll have tons of different sliders and numbers and widgets that you don't remember what they were for. And you can give them different definitions and names for you to remember in the future. You can call this X first point, for example, or something that in the future will help you understand or recall what it was for. And then let's say I've got a 2 and 4 and 3. Now here in that space, see my point. The thing is, I cannot do anything with that. I cannot navigate through it, but all I can touch is the nodes and the program that I've made. That's because I'm in this environment. If I click here, I can go to the other environment, and now I have access to my geometry. I can select my point and see where it is. All right, that's the way to start. So similarly, everything else, you can find circles and rectangles and lines and everything. Each of them has inputs and outputs. You will find what to do and use them. So let's say I want to create a grid of points. Before, they used to have a function just called XYZ grid. They don't have it anymore in Dynamo, but there's an easy way to make it. There might be other ways as well, but the easiest way to make it is to, so again, the idea is I want to make a grid, what to do it. I can create a point using X, Y, and Z. What if I, instead of putting one number into X, I could put 10 different numbers into it? So I need a number sequence. There it is. Click on it, it will be here. So I've got a number sequence. Again, you got inputs. So what is the start number? What is the amount of repetitions, and how many? What is the step size? So how many steps and step size? Again, I can have a slider similar to Grasshopper. I'm assuming that some of these are familiar for you guys coming from the Grasshopper background, but if they are not, just let me know. I can explain anything they want in more detail. So the number slider will give you the ability to switch between different numbers, and I'm using that as my start. Anything that you put in Dynamo, you can right click and do a little bit of property change, so you can ask if you want it to be previewed or not, and or change some of the properties of these functions. So for example, in the slider, you can say what is the minimum, what is maximum, what are the steps. So I will define the steps as 1 to get this integers, but I would also use an integer slider, which is the same thing. For now, I'm going to set it to 1, 0 to 100, and close it. And now I've got a start point. And then I've got amount of, let's say, 10. I would make this 0, and then the step. Okay, I figured out the control thing. Have control press and then move. That's how you come. And then the step can be just one. So from that, you have created a sequence of numbers. But similar to Grasshopper, we had a panel to see what the information and data we have is. Now here we have something called watch. We will click here, connect this to see the data that we have. Okay, we have a list of numbers from 0 to 9. I can just use this and apply this to my x. Now I have 10 points from 0 to 9%, and stepping one by one. Same thing I want to do for my y. So I can just select what I have, Control C, Control V, and put it there. Or I could also select these, right click, and say make a group. And then this group could have a name as well. I can just copy and paste my group, move it back here, and give it to y. Now, something interesting is happening that will intrigue a portion of what I'm going to talk to you guys about today, about the list. I'm just trying to find a good way of showing it. So, what it did was, for each of the x values, it used one of the y values, and it created these still 9 or 10 points using those two numbers. So, are you guys familiar with the ideas of shortest list or longest and cross difference, that kind of thing? Yeah, more or less. Okay, so same thing, similar to Grasshopper here, we have lacing. You can say shortest, longest, and cross product. So the idea is if you do shortest, let's say you have two lists, one of them has 3 points, the other one has 4 points. If you do shortest, you do that. If you do longest, then you do that. And if you do cross, you will connect each of these to all the points. Like that. So those are the 3 different stages. So again, shortest is just connect what it is. After the next item, you leave it out. Longest will connect everything, and if you feel anything left out, Dynamo will connect the last item from the first to all the rest. Okay. And then the cross product will connect with everything together. So here I would say lacing and change it to cross product. Now I've got my grid. So very simple. Any questions so far? So any function that you're combining different data or lists, there you can define if you want to do in lacing, you want to do shortest, longest, or cross. So if this is that function, you will right click on that, go to lacing, and do the cross first. So kind of diagram that I draw here. Anyway, so this is the shortest, and that is the cross. Any other questions so far? No? Good. Right. Okay, so now we have a list of points here. I'm gonna now connect this to my watch to see what I have. So here I see a list which is in the form of a tree. So what is a tree of list is you have a list of, let's say, 2 points, so 0 and 1. Then each of them has 3 different components. So 3, 1, 0, 1. So that's the first row of information. So you got a 0 and you got a 1. And then the second row you have a 0, you have a 1, and a 2. And then if you go back and say, hey, give me all the zeros, you give you that and that, and these are not the values, but the numbers associated with each data. And then if you go 2, will give you that and that. So here, again, you can see here, it says list. You have 0, you have 1, and you go all the way to 9. and each of these branches have sub-branches, which again goes to 0 to 1. You could have more or less, uh, and then we will work from there. So what is interesting here, the same way I told you, is to work with this list of numbers. So let's say you want to select number 4 of this list from all these branches, or you want to do 4 from here and 5 from there. So how to address these is kind of the main issue a lot of the times when you're doing these kind of parametric programming. We'll get to that, but just to start, I'm gonna do just assign a circle to each of the points that I've made here um, on the grid. So I've got I just typed in circle. It gave me this function. I just clicked on it. It's right here. It says give me a center point. So I will say for all of my points, do a center point and create that circle. I'll go to my geometry requirements. Okay, like that. Then you can change the radius as well. So it's slider. I would say probably the maximum, not go more than 3. And that. Make the thin, make the a little bit smaller. Okay, so now we can start looking at the list and see how we can address these different components or different data lines. But before that, that's always a good start to approach designing a pattern or manipulate something on a surface or approach this kind of solution, kind of similar to the project that you guys are going to do. So you will have an array of points, and to each of those points is assigned a function that could be a circle in this example, or it could be a manipulation to your surface or a geometry or whatever you want to do. And then from there, you will assign different values based on different variables to your items to give it a different formation. So 2 things that I'm going to start showing you guys from here. One is how to work with different lists, and the other one is how to do attraction points in Dynamo. So I think you guys have done that in Grasshopper, right? So similar idea. You can define a point somewhere and then measure all the distances from, kind of similar to what Stephen was showing last session. And then from that distance, you could define the diameter of your circle or the radius of your circle and define different sizes. So the closer you are to a circle, the size of the circle could be larger or smaller. If I was going to ask you guys to do it in Dynamo, do you think you would be confident enough to do it right now? More or less? You should be, because it's almost similar to Grasshopper. So let's say it's your first time doing Dynamo, you can just easily go in and do it. I'm going to just quickly show you how to. So get a point here. I'm just going to Control V over there. We got a group copied over here. I'm going to give that to this. Another one. Do the slider. I define my maximum to 10. That's my new point here, as you can see. And I can move it wherever I want. I will put this to 0, and then I've got that, let's say somewhere there. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we have all our points over here, and we have our attraction points over there. I'm just going to move this back and move it over here. It's always interesting how easy it is to lose stuff on the screen, and it gets very messy very soon. So try to be organized in some way. And then from here, you can draw a line. So that point is the end point, this point is the start point. So if you do a line and just drag it in, it will draw all the lines for you. And then if I move the point around, you'll see how those lines move. I can just right click on this and uncheck the preview so I don't see it. And then measure the length of the curve that are assigned to the right length, and then I will use that number to use it as the radius. But because they're very big, I don't see a very good result. However, it is still um, responsive to where my point is, like that. And then I think Steven showed this quickly. Something that is interesting, was interesting Grasshopper was you double click and search for a function, but here you would double click and create your own um, code or function. So you can just say, um, A divided by B, and then say my A is my distance, and B is another integer that I will define. So I'm a slider here, which I will set to something there. That is radius. Now you can see kind of what we meant by that kind of stuff. So it should be very easy, I think. All right. Okay. I think you should. Um, so there's that. There's also a window that you could do actual coding in it. There's also a way to define new nodes and use them in. So there's a lot that you can do. It's kind of easier than Grasshopper to work with. In Grasshopper, you had to do something in I don't know, Python or C++ or Visual Basic and bring it back into Grasshopper. But here you can just in this environment start um, playing with those. Um, any other questions? I don't know. Control B, yeah, there is. Yeah. So one more thing, a lot of the time you see people having turned the background geometry off, um, like this. Go into available previews and turn off the background preview. I'm not see that at all. But instead you can do a watch 3D, which will basically create a new window for you that shows the geometry um, there. And you can plug in what you want to see to that. And yes, hopefully. Um, I don't know why it's not showing up, but a problem that a lot of people have with Dynamo, and I had it on Monday too, was that for some reason geometry does not show up. And it's currently a relationship between your graphic card, the DirectX that you're using, and program you have installed. And there's lots of discussions out there they're trying to solve it, but for example, right now there is no way I could install Dynamo on my desktop and get the geometry shown unless I would link it back into Revit. But on my laptop it works. So it's very weird. So same thing here. Sometimes I'm missing something that doesn't show up, but sometimes it is missing something that doesn't show up. Anyway, back to what we're doing. One more thing, because what I'm doing right now is pretty basic, but what you do might get uh, very complicated and takes a lot of computer power. So down here you can do manual or automatic run. So what it means is if you do manual and you change stuff here, it will not show up here in your geometry, and it will require you to go down there and press run to change whatever property that you have changed. So let's say I change that number, it doesn't show up, but I click run and I will see the result. Okay. I'll do that. Yeah, so you change it and you don't see it. All right, like that. But also you can have it on automatic, and as you go real time, it will show you the changes in the yeah. So that was the attraction point. idea on how to get it done. I don't know what that one turn. Okay. And I assume no questions. It might be. So if you see the grid but not the geometry, it might be something in your program that you can kind of figure out. But if you don't see the grid at all, and it's just a white line, it might be a weird problem as I had on Monday. I couldn't solve it. So if anybody found a solution, share with me, and if I found an easy share with you. Um, yeah. Yeah, I was supposed to do a hi guys, very good, but it really worked, and I have some good ideas for jokes, but sorry. Okay. So from here, I'm going to go to show you guys a few different things in the list. I think we still have about 10 minutes. So again, I would say just go here in this library and open all of these and see what they are. Especially some of them are very interesting and might show you guys opportunities that you were not thinking about before. So they might create some new possibilities that you were not considering, especially in like I don't know, in geometry shows you what you can create, and then different places here shows you the different operations that you can do. So anything that you will open will have three different subcategories. This one has two. Let me show you the one that so we have three different categories. The one with an add is the one, or the plus is the one that you can create stuff. The one with the cool flash is the one that you can do some actions. You can edit or modify the already created geometries or any function under that category. And the ones with question mark are the ones that you can analyze or ask a question like, is this list empty or is this list whatever. So that's where you can find it. So I'm gonna go. So what I'm gonna do is to go to the core here, and under list, I'm gonna show you guys the functions that are interesting and can basically um, address a lot of your data through those using these functions. So I'm gonna focus on that portion for a while. So first of all, you can create lists. Through here with just clicking on them, you will put your different items and you can add as much as you want and it will give you a list. So that's very simple. The other thing is that you can create range and sequences of numbers similar to what we use for making the grid. So you can use those two to do a range and a sequence. And then down, so those were the create parts. And then here in the actions, we have a few interesting different functions. So add to the end and add to the front. You would just have this, and it will give you what is the item you want to add at the front or at the end, and you will have your list. So let's say I have a set of points here, and I want to add a new set of points at the beginning. So the points that I have is on my left, and the points that I want to add to the beginning will be my item. So, and then similar to Grasshopper, you can connect your points to it directly, or you can point whatever you're getting from the watch. So the only difference it's going to make is that through this transition from point to the item here, you will see what data you are transferring. At the end, at the front, chop, you can cut your list into different portions. So let's say, I'm going to show you guys examples of what these means after the break. But let's say you want to cut your list into series of lists, and each of them has a length of 10 components. Then you can just connect your list to it and say, give me a number. And do a number, and it could be 10, and then have a watch. Okay.